What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be highlighting all of our albino complex projects for our ball pythons. But before we get started, hit like, hit subscribe so you can see more reptile content from us on your recommended feed. So let's get started. Pretty much our whole albino project is really mixed with pieds. That's going to be albino pieds, candy pieds, and Ultramel pieds. Let's start with the albino pied stuff. This right here is our albino pied male. When we first started getting into ball pythons, this was the pinnacle of what we wanted to work with. And even though the lavender albinos or the dreamsicles are way more sought after, this is still a very pretty, very beautiful animal. Our goal for this project mainly is to get Cinnamon and Enchi into this animal, because pretty much this is still what we consider a pet project here at Modern Reptile. This male is breeding with 3 females this year. That's going to be a het pied, a double het albino pied, and an albino het pied. I'm going to go ahead and put him back into that bin because he's actually breeding with the het pied right now. I'm not going to pull out that het pied today just because I want to leave her alone. She has a couple more locks with this male and I don't really want to bother her too much. But to get started, we have this hissy double het albino pied female. She actually gave us our first clutch of this year, and hopefully, probably around the time that this video comes out, we're going to be seeing babies from her. And this right here is the albino het pied that he's breeding to. This female was actually one of the first animals that we produced here at Modern Reptile, back when we were HSR Exotics. And last year was the year that we proved her out as het pied, because her original pairing was albino het pied to het albino. This is going to be her second breeding season and she's developing pretty well. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring out the last animal that he's breeding to. A pet project for us is a very nice animal that is affordable for most people that want a new pet reptile. So instead of like a dreamsicle where it's going to be a couple $1,000s where not everybody can afford, if somebody wants a similar animal, they can get an albino pied. But we're going to get into more pet project stuff in a future video. This right here is a black pastel albino. I'm going to be quick with this one just because she just had her pre-ovulation shed. I don't really want to bother her too much. But like we said earlier, our goal is to mix black pastel and cinnamon into the albino pied stuff, and this is going to be our first step to doing that. So our next male that we're going to talk about is this candy. This is actually a candy het for pied. This male right here this year is breeding to a super pastel het candy, an Enchi leopard het candy, and a het pied. Our goals for this male are pretty much through the roof. Candy is one of my favorite genes. We have a couple of ideas that we're not ready to talk about just yet, but this is a big project for us here at Modern Reptile. And in this bin right here, he is actually pairing today with the Enchi leopard het candy. This female right here just needs one more lock from this male, and I'm gonna go ahead and put her away because he's getting pretty antsy. Now, I didn't really want to interrupt them too much, and unfortunately in this video I'm not too confident in taking out that super pastel het candy or the het pied because we're actually waiting for them to lay. But nonetheless, we still have one more male to show you, and that male belongs to the project that we work with that is probably most sought after today. This here is our pied het for Ultramel. And just based off the genes, you know exactly what he belongs to. This is our Ultramel pied project. Now, here at Modern Reptile, we understand that, you know, not everybody's going to have all the money in the world to invest into this stuff. And there's no shame and no hate to anybody who has invested a lot of money into this. Good for them, and that's great. And we're not here to poo-poo on anybody's dreams either. But since we don't have the most capital, we are taking our steps in the directions that we need to. And being that, we have this pied het Ultramel that's actually going to be breeding to a cinnamon het Ultramel and a bamboo cinnamon het Ultramel. The base for this project mainly is the cinnamon mixing with the Ultramel and the pied. Now, although the fact that I prefer high pattern pieds and the cinnamon pied is a high white animal, that's okay for me for this project. Now let me go ahead and pull out those females. Plain Jane, cinnamon right here. Very nice animal. If you can see in the video, it's developing very well. And assuming that breeding continues and this animal keeps eating, this animal will go for us this year and get us closer to our dream Ultramel pied. Now, the last animal that he's breeding to is this bamboo cinnamon het Ultramel, and they just had their last lock. I actually had a friend of mine post a bamboo cinnamon Ultramel the other day on Facebook, and I just fell in love, and I'm so excited, and hopefully we can produce some this year, but this female will be going for us. Okay, so before we cut off this video, I'm going to show you one more animal. It's not breeding this year, but it is in the pied Ultramel project that we have. And since I couldn't show a lot of the candy stuff because they're about to lay, I figured let me show this one off. This right here is a cinnamon mahogany het Ultramel. And this is pretty much the female that's going to give us the bulk of this project, because we're trying to get this dark in the Ultramel and mixing it with the pied. Well, that's it for today's video. Make sure to like and follow so you can see more reptile content from us on your recommended feed. And if you like podcasts and you need a new reptile podcast to listen to, click here to laugh, yell, and learn with us. Also, don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms as Modern Reptile Shop. But for now, we were Modern Reptile, and you have been awesome. We'll see you on the next one. Later!